Boom, bum, 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 bum. And welcome, folks. This is Sherman Ray, and this is Lovin and Livin in Vegas podcast. So I'm trying to get my phone stuck out there. And welcome, folks, to the show. This is Sherman Ray. This is Lovin and Livin in Vegas. This is actually our 11th show, folks. Been on for about 2 weeks now. Hope you like that music. That was from Josh Pan, and the title of that track is called Calvin Harris. It's one of those things. It's one of those songs that just you kind of can't get out of your head. It's got that little drive and beat thing going on. So I want to welcome you all to the show today. Hope you all had a great weekend. I know I did. I got to do some writing this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that. I got to watch a lot of sports this weekend. A lot of sports. We had a lot of stuff going on here in Vegas. And some of it good, some of it not so good. And so, yeah, it is what it is. You know, what are you going to do? You have to take the good with the bad. You do. And here in Las Vegas, we always have the good stuff. So very excited about what's going on in Las Vegas. So today we're going to talk a little bit. It was kind of a light weekend. That's generally what happens when you come back off of a Monday. It's kind of a light weekend. And I want to welcome Chris is back on with us. I'm glad to have you here with me today, Chris. We're going to probably change the format of the show because, you know, generally we put the show, you know, on YouTube. And we have a bigger audience. Actually, I've got a lot more people on our Facebook page, and so we're kind of debating. I love the YouTube format, but you know we've got got some things we want to definitely talk about more, and it's probably a different format on Facebook. Anyways, we'll talk about that later on as the week goes. So let's talk about the magazine. So many of you know that the magazine is coming out. Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine's coming out here in a couple more weeks. Great, getting some really a lot of interest in this magazine. I am just as excited as I possibly can be. For some of you who know me, I actually was a publisher of Black Success magazine, and we put that out in 2020. And when we moved over and started the media company, we decided that, you know, our first project was going to be something that was near and dear to my heart. Lovin and Livin in Vegas has been a part of my heart for, going on over 30 years now. I know. It's been a long time. It really has. At one time, we were actually pitching a song called Lovin and Livin in Vegas to the city of Las Vegas as the state song. And so, or excuse me, the city song. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart. So the magazine Lovin and Livin in Vegas coming out January. We're actually going to be doing an event. It's called the first annual Las Vegas Whiskey and Whiskers Festival. Now some of you are laughing. I know you're laughing already, but there is a method to our madness. So you probably can check out So Chris, you bought a song of mine. Is it a 45? Oh, fantastic. Those are hard to come by. So Chris knows that I actually, or some of people were listening when I said I actually sang a song called Lovin and Livin in Vegas. And as you're saying, Chris, it's a very rare song that you will find. I should probably bring it out one of these. I actually do have one of the albums here in my office. But, wow. Should I go get it? No, I'm not gonna. But I'm gonna close this really quick here. So, pardon me for just a second, folks. Let me do this. Didn't close that. And anyways, so now some of you can actually see that I actually do wear pants when I do my broadcast. So yes, it is a very rare album, a 45 that we did of this. I used to sing in a group years and years ago, And I was in my early 20s, early to mid 20s, and Lovin' Livin' in Vegas was actually a song that we sang. We were pitching it as a song for Las Vegas, and did a recording of it, and it has been you can get it on. I think every once in a while you can find it on Amazon or something like that, or maybe eBay or something like that. And I've seen it before, and I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, that's people still have that. So, anyways, I've always loved Vegas, always will love Vegas, and Love and Living in Vegas is really all about the people, the places, the trends, the things that are going on in Vegas. Um, and it's a rare place. It is, if you live in Vegas right now, or you're thinking about living in a place, Vegas is probably the place to be. It really is. There's no place like it on the planet that has all the things that we have. And I could do this all day long. I mean, I could sing the praises of Vegas, but let's tell you about what is actually going on in Vegas. Um, so many of you know I went to UNLV, and UNLV. I'm going to start off with a story about UNLV because it's a happy story. So UNLV's football team, not the Running Rebels, but the UNLV football has been on they're on a tear, guys. They went out to Hawaii, and guess what, folks? They defeated Hawaii this weekend. That's right. Woohoo! I'll tell you, you cannot ask for much more than this. So we got a new coach for the team, and this guy now, I think he's probably, he's probably the happiest guy in the world. So Las Vegas, Charles Williams. Here's the story. This story garnered so much attention. This was on AP. So this is an AP story. Charles Williams rushed for a career high 266 yards. Okay, scored 3 touchdowns. Okay, maybe you didn't hear me. 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. UNLV wins 27-13 over Hawaii, the Rainbows. Come on, baby. I think that deserves like this applause line. I mean, it really does. Williams, this guy Charles Williams, he's running back. He's already the rushing leader for the team. Has a school record 38 carries, rushed for 200 yards for the second time in his career. Became the 4th UNLV player. Took over 1,000 yards in a season twice. Very cool. In the process, he passed Boise State's Jay Ajayi to move into 4th place on the Mountain West Conference career rushing list with 4,035 yards. I'll tell you, this is pretty cool. I don't think that we understand. I don't have my UNLV stuff. I said I was going to do it, and I didn't. I generally have UNLV stuff all over the place. I do. I'm sure I do. I'm going to find it here before the end of the show, because it's usually pretty close. So here's the deal about UNLV, and why I crow about them all the time. And I had a conversation with a guy who actually, many of you who have been here in Vegas for any length of time might know that UNLV has a radio station, and it's called the call letter signs of it's KUNV. It's been around since like 81 or something like that. But I met the guy who's going to be he's actually going to be in our magazine. And I won't say his name, but because he's a very humble guy. Very humble guy. But he was our student body president when I was a freshman. And that's when KUNV radio came online. At the time, it was all jazz, and it just changed the format just probably 3 years ago. A friend of mine by the name of Steve Edwards used to be out there as a DJ, and Steve is darker than I am, has a very British accent, used to work for the BBC, came here to Las Vegas to set down his roots, all that good stuff, and really just propelled KUNV radio to the stratosphere with jazz music. So now they've changed their jazz format. So I don't know where I was going with that story, but UNLV has long been just in my heart. It really has been. It will always be. I was there when Tark was there, Jerry Tarkanian, when we were the Running Rebels. I think I've got I used to have the poster in my garage of all the guys. I mean, all the guys, Danny Tarkanian, all those guys that went to the NCAA championship. And so the reason why I think UNLV should be front and center for everybody who comes here to Las Vegas is because they are our team. It's not UNR. It's not the University of Nevada. It is not, all these other schools. It is UNLV, okay? The Running Rebels. That's our school. And we need to embrace them. I know I'm emphatic about that. But we're going to be doing even more stuff with them. As a matter of fact, I've used their facilities for radio broadcast. I've done a TV show with them over at UNLV. I'm going to be calling them today, as a matter of fact, because I've got some other things we're going to be working with them on. But it is so cool to see the football team actually doing something. And we're on a 2-game winning streak right now. I would read all the rest of this, but it's just too cool. It was just too cool. But on the flip side, the Raiders played this weekend, and the Raiders didn't have as good a time. Yeah. The Las Vegas Raiders played this weekend, and they played against the Kansas City Chiefs. To say that it was it wasn't their best game is probably putting it lightly. Oops, excuse me. Is putting it lightly. The Patrick Mahomes, who has been just dog poop for a couple of weeks now. I mean, they've got a terrible record. They were, I think their whole division is pretty lackluster. But Patrick Mahomes, who was a former Super Bowl MVP, all-world, great guy, has been just stinking up the place. And just so happens this week he gets his crap together. Yeah, he got his crap together on us here at the Death Star. It was the highest-rated game here in Las Vegas. And we were all hoping, and we have a split household here because my wife is a Kansas City Chief fan. I'm a Raider fan for when Raiders play. I'm a Dallas Cowboy, born and bred fan, but the Raiders are our team now, so I'm a Raiders fan. So the Raiders just didn't look. I don't even want to read the whole thing. I just don't, because I watched the entire game. I watched the entire game. Patrick Mahomes was on. They couldn't do anything wrong. They beat the Raiders 41-14 at home, and it wasn't even that close. It really wasn't. It was just not a good looking game. We did have a bright moment that turned bad in the game. We just got a new Deshaun Jackson just came to play for the Raiders. He was cut by his former team, came over to the Raiders. And when he came over, we said, hey, great, we got this great receiver. He can be, so we've got some great receivers. There's no doubt. I mean, we've got some great people who play for the Raiders. We've got, our tight end is just phenomenal. He's a phenom. The guy's a beast. I mean, beast mode. I don't remember the guy's name. Renfro plays for us. He was a great receiver. Got some great receivers that are out there. And then when we brought Jackson on, we thought, oh my gosh, this is going to complete our thing. Well, Jackson catches the ball. I think it's like a 40-yard pass. Catches the ball. He's at almost a 20-yard line or so, and he tries to fake a guy out to go inside, and the same guy punches the ball out, and literally that's when the game changed. Yeah. You've seen how games just kind of flip, right? That's what happened in that game. Right then and there, the game kind of switched gears. We were coming up close to, we would have actually, at the time it was 14-7, I believe it was. And it would have brought us a little closer, would have brought us 14-13, 14-14. And literally, it just knocked the wind right out of our sails. Patrick Mahomes and the guys went back down, scored a touchdown. And the rest, as they say, was history. So it is what it is. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you can't win everything unless you're going to be a part of the magazine. So let's talk a little bit about our magazine. Coming out January of 2022, we're launching the Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine. If you would like to actually be a part of the magazine, this is very cool. So I should probably move this out of the way. if you would like to be a part of the magazine, it's really easy. It really is. If, let's say, you want to become a sponsor or something like that, all you have to do, just send me an email. Send me an email to info@lovinandlivininvegas.com and tell me about it. Just say, hey, Sherman, I'd like to be an advertiser. We've actually gotten a great response. I'm talking to a lot of people. Some people are very cool. If you would like a full page spread, please call me pretty quick, okay? Because they're going really quick. People, I don't understand it. Usually full page spreads are the last thing to go. And in this case, they're actually the first thing to go. The front cover is taken already. Okay, the front cover of this magazine is already taken. We've already had a couple of people who've asked, hey, can we be on the front cover? Would love for you to be, but it's already taken, so you cannot be that. So we do have some other full page spreads that we can open up for you. But a lot of articles, a lot of really just cool stuff in there. And if you would like a free digital copy of the magazine, just send me an email to info@lovinandlivininvegas.com, and we will get you signed up. And once again, this is free of charge for the digital copy of it. We want it spread far and wide. And the cool thing about this, folks, not only are we putting out the magazine, but we're also doing an event to kick off the magazine. Now, this is the cool part, folks. Many of you know that I do a lot of events. I've done a lot of events in the past. As a matter of fact, I did a car show for 6 years. Yeah, about 6 years I did a car show once a month. At one point, it was dubbed in the top 20 things to do in the state for Halloween, because we had what they call a trunk or treat event that time. We probably had 300 or 400 cars there. All of them opened up their trunks, filled them up with candy, all that stuff. And every child, every mom, dad in the valley, it seemed like, came to that event, and it was fantastic. It really was. Matter of fact, it got so crazy. We had helicopters flying all the way around. I had city politicians, when I was asking them, I said, hey, I'm planning this thing. Are we going to get in trouble? They said, just do it, Sherman. Just go ahead and do it. Don't worry about getting in trouble. We won't get you in trouble because it was an enclosed area. So we probably had upwards of 1,500, 2,000 people there at that event. It was just fantastic. We are doing something on a smaller scale for the launch of Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine. It's called the first annual Las Vegas Whiskey and Whiskers Festival. We're going to be having whiskey tasting, which will be great. So I don't want you getting drunk. Tasting, whiskey tasting. Some great whiskeys that we're going to bring out. Also, we're growing right now for the month of November, which is Movember. We're growing our facial hair out. And don't shave it off. Okay, so I shaved today, but I shaved my head. So you can see the shine off the top of my head now. But I didn't shave my whiskers, because even though I probably can't get in the event because I'm putting it on, I still want to represent. So, and I can grow pretty long, so I can grow a fairly long beard. If at the end of this month, don't shave your mustache, don't shave your beard, we're going to have a competition at the Whiskey and Whiskers event, and you can win prizes. So there's money for first, second, and third place. We'll actually be looking for consolation prizes too. So this will be very, very cool. So that's January 15th. We are locking down the location right now. We already have one location that has already said yes, but other people are saying, you know what, Sherman, we really want this event over at our place. And so we got this tug of war going. And that's very, very cool to be. So that's January 15th for the kickoff of the Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine. We're going to be doing the event. And we've got a couple of charities that we're going to be giving money to. So, no, we're not going to pocket all the cash, folks. No, we're not doing that. We do a lot of things to benefit the charities that are here in Las Vegas. We've got a couple of charities in mind, and we want to be able to contact them first to make sure they know that the proceeds of this event will be going to them. That will probably we'll probably make that announcement Friday, where we will actually tell you guys. And that way you'll have 8 weeks, okay? End of the week, I'll put us 20th or something like that, and you'll be able to start telling all your friends about this event that's going on. I don't know if you knew this, folks, but today is actually National Recycling Day. Well, it's a day where you actually are supposed to recycle stuff, or if you've not, you're actually going to be thinking about it and maybe starting to do that. So we really encourage you to think about your recycling habits a little bit more. I am, and so I live when I've lived here in Vegas since early '60s. Okay, so and Vegas has changed a lot. We are in a desert for those of you who don't don't know, and the desert is a very precious place. It's not like living out in North Carolina or something like that where stuff just kind of fades away. You live in a desert, and the desert only has so much water. It only has so many resources that we actually have to really take care of. So I tend to be more of a conservationist, in that respect. So recycling, taking care of the place where we live is high on my priority list. So today, think about your habits of the things that you use, reusing things, using things over and over and over again. I tend to use this same cup for everything. I mean, pretty much everything. I carry it with me all the time. And, it's my Boulder City cup, so I'm going to put that up there. It's my Boulder City cup. My wife bought this for me as a replacement because she knows I tend to carry around. I don't tend to throw things away like that. So, more like that. Let's get back to some stories. Oh, this weekend also. So we had Eldorado Day. We had the Vegas N Day. Eldorado, for those of you who don't know what Eldorado was, or now it's called the Las Vegas Days. Okay, it's changed its name, and we'll do a story before we leave. Yeah, I'm going to try to hurry this on real quick, but Eldorado Days or Las Vegas Days was just celebrated this weekend. We're going to really highlight this as the year goes on for next year because really that should have been huge. It really should have been. It's one of our first, if not our first, celebration in the city of Las Vegas. And it really has been just kicked off to the side. And it should have been front and center. Okay, I'm just really upset about that. But we're going to change that. We're going to change that with this show and with the things that we're doing. Okay, so the Golden Knights played this weekend too. So for those of you who know who the Vegas Golden Knights are, yes, they are. That's the VGK. VGK won this weekend also. Do I have that story up? I'm going to have to, let me get this story up. Because Vegas Golden Knights did something that they have not done before. And that was the amount of goals that were scored. Okay, 5 Golden Knights scored this weekend to win over the Canucks 7-4. Okay, and I would read all their names, and they've got all their names listed here, but this is huge. Jonathan Marchessault scored twice, and Vegas beat the Vancouver Canucks 7-4 on Saturday night. Now the VGK are still on a tear. They are just kicking butt, taking names, and they lost their first, 3 or 4 games. But in the last couple of weeks have just been on a tear. So we've got high hopes for the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're doing some great things. We'll continue just to hold them up because they're doing some great stuff. The Palms is going to reopen. Okay, there was a story. For those of you who have been around for a while, once again, if you've been around for a while, I'm kind of discombobulated here, folks. The Palms, here, let's change this a little bit. The Palms closed down during the pandemic. So about June, July, and I remember when this happened because I drive by there all the time. They closed down because of the pandemic. There was a state-ordered mandate here, and they have not opened back up. So June of 2020, June and July, they closed. And they closed all their doors, a lot of strip casinos, a lot of, and I should post some pictures because I ride my bike a lot. We rode down to a lot of these places that normally you couldn't ride. There's no way because there's cars. But this time we rode down the Palms area like a ghost town. I mean, a ghost town. Unfortunately, what happened though is, well, we won't talk about that. But so they've been closed all this time. During that time, they actually changed hands. Yeah. Did you know that they've actually been open for 20 years? Wow. Really? Yeah, 20 years. I can't believe it. So this story, gosh, this story was on 8 News Now. Okay, it says the Palms would have turned 20 years old on today, and they catered heavily to locals. Okay, so that's why we don't do a lot of stories about Caesars and all those other guys. It's not that we have anything against Caesars, because I have nothing against Caesars at all, but the Palms was really a locals place. It really was. Matter of fact, there's a place right next to it, which is now Bourbon Street Casino, which is a little, it's a smaller place. That used to be a little place we used to hang out too. When I used to be a bartender here many years ago, and I'll tell you a story about that at some point. Won't have time today, but we would work all night long. 4 o'clock in the morning, we'd close down the bar. We would go over to this little place that was right next to the Palms. The Palms wasn't there at the time, but that was the only place that you could go that you could have a great time. And then the Palms came along many, many years later, and but it's been 20 years now, and it would have been 20 years old today had it stayed open or it stayed under the same ownership. In May, Red Rock Resorts, unit of the station casinos, agreed to sell the Palms to San Manuel Gaming and Hospitality, and San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. Okay, so it's an Indian property now. For, guess how much? $650 million in cash. That's it. Cash. They wanted the cash. So cash is a good reason. The deal remains pending due to regulatory approval, but is expected to be finalized in the end of the year. So the Palms is still a great place. They actually have a great nightlife there. So, maybe we'll do something there at some point. I think so, because it's a real locals place. It's off the strip, and it's just a very, very cool place to go to. Do we have time for one more story? I'm going to do it one more. I'm going to do one more anyways. And the only reason why I do this is because I like the Jonas Brothers. So the Jonas Brothers are actually opening up a new place. Let's see if I can get this up here. So the Jonas Brothers are actually opening up a new place on the strip. Okay, but they're still guys. They're cool guys. They're opening a new restaurant in 2022. Let's see. So Nellie's Southern Kitchen is what it's called. Set to make its debut at the MGM Grand in 2022. Okay. The reason, once again, that we bring this up is because we love the Jonas Brothers. I mean, I think the Jonas Brothers are probably one of the, I don't know, they're kind of the down-to-earth thing. And so that's what we dig about them. According to the family, Nellie's will celebrate the comfort, food, hospitality, and southern charm of the family's 1760s roots in North Carolina. Okay, so they're very cool. In an unrelated story, folks, most of you probably know Britney Spears. And Britney Spears, this will be our last story. So Britney Spears this week, she's been fighting for the last number of years to get her to be emancipated, basically, to get there was a court order that had put a conservatorship over her life, and so Britney was able to get out of that conservatorship, made a lot of people happy. We're all happy for her. I mean, how can you not be happy for a woman? She's finally got her life back and stuff. But so we're very happy for Britney Spears that she's able to get her life back. And something's wrong here. We'll do that again. And so we're very happy for Britney that she's got her life back. And we hope that she's going to be doing some great things in her life going forward. Britney Spears was a headliner here. She had a residency here for many, many years. And so we're excited that she's doing some great things in her life. Once again, I'm Sherman Ray. This is Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine, the podcast. We're going to be updating this. We've got some people who want to be on the show, so we're very excited about the. Oh, I didn't know I still have that up here that whole time. We've got some people who say they want to actually be on the show, so we're actually going to be bringing some guests on. If you would like to be a part of our magazine, okay, once again, magazine comes out. The magazine comes out in January of 2022. We really encourage you to write to us and say, Sherm, we want to be advertisers. We want to get the word out in the magazine, or we'd like a digital edition, a free digital edition of the magazine. All you've got to do is write me. Just write me at info@lovinandlivininvegas.com. info@lovinandlivininvegas.com, and we will actually get that in your hands when it comes out. Okay, we're done, folks. This has been Sherman Ray, Lovin and Livin in Vegas magazine. We want to thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you again tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube.